Hello, today is Friday, April 1st, and I have decided that there will be no stream today. I'm obviously kidding, it's Thursday, and obviously there is a stream today. But let us go to the main camera and get everything set up right. Camera settings almost work this time, that's good. Let me just try to fix that. Normally I fix this before the stream, but today I was running a bit short on time for various reasons. This really needs to be shifted that way. Yeah. Hey W, how's it going? I had to think of an April Fool's thing in short time, so that was the best I could come up with. And also, I have shifted the colors in a very strange way. And I'm also not certain how to fix them, so that's fun. Anyway, yeah. So I think you've seen the our asteroids clone with LSD as the theme. Added a couple things to it. Yeah. I mean, I think I've changed. I think we just added the film grain since last time. I think that's really all we've done. Also, the asteroids like explode now, and there's score and all that. Players still can't die though, so that's always fun. Hey, percentage guy, how's it going? Have a little something you can try out. Okay, I'm very interested in trying something out, whatever it might be. I saw that you were doing some Unity stuff earlier. So how's Unity going? I assume you've been trying out stuff for acid droids. Check Discord. Okay. Let's see what madness we have today. QuickLua2.exe. So you have a new version of your engine. Okay. I will. Is now a good time to do that? I will do that. Let me wait till tomorrow to do that. Just because this is sort of the beginner Unity sort of stream. Motivation already killed the project. That's really fast. Wait a minute. So between 6:30 a.m. Well, okay, it's not 6:30 a.m. for you. It's probably like, if it's like 8 now. What is it? Probably like midday or something? But yeah, let me try out the Lua stuff. No, let me do it in the later stream. I'll do it in the later stream because that's a more advanced sort of thing. But yeah, I wanted to keep this as the beginner stream for Unity. Isn't a lot. Alright, we can change. Do some stuff for now. Alright, let me change the actual stream title. Sing with, let's see, trying out a game engine. Yeah, okay. We'll do this for a little bit and then, yeah, okay. Let me grab a copy of this. Okay, no. Why did that go? Oh, that's interesting. That went to a Discord download link. Oh my god. Hate that it's doing this. Let me run a scan of that. Alright. Do have to make sure that it's fine, because you never know. Windows. Sure. It'd be nice if it would appear on not that screen. Oh, okay. Lua engine rewritten. I like how the film grain changed. Huh, that's interesting. Film grain is changing every once in a while, and that's throwing me off. Put project folder path here. Oh, that's interesting. That's an older style of file browser that brings up. Let's put that, where are we going to put that? We will put that, sure, I think I can find it here now, actually. Yeah, that'll be fine. Sure, let's put that in there. Okay. Alright, so create or open. What happens if I try to open a non-existing? Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So the open project opened on the other screen. Interesting. What if I click confirm with nothing selected? Ah, okay. Project does not exist. Fair enough. Okay, so I think this needs to be snake, right? Because I think we agreed that I'd try to make snake. Let's see. Okay, I like this. This is kind of like Unity in many ways. It is interesting that it's not resizable. Run, reload current frame, return to start. Startup menu, okay. Scene properties, scene list. Okay. Something broke. Oh, jeez. April Fool's Cooper. That's funny. I see. So that's what you did. You just wanted to show that. It's corrupted or does not exist. That's interesting. Okay. So you did get me. That's funny. Alright, well done. I did not suspect that at all. Maybe change this. The stream title. Remaking a game. Unity. So well done, you got me on stream. Alright. Yeah, that was well done. I wouldn't have. Thanks for the bug, though. I mean, was that actually a bug that did it corrupted the project, or no? Yeah, I probably should have copied that to the clipboard and just sent you like 10,000 copies of it. I should have done that. Oh well, I'm too nice. So what I want to do is I want the asteroids whenever they spawn in. So I want a couple things. One, when the asteroids spawn in, I don't want them to randomly appear. I want them to... Oh, corrupting the project is a bug. Okay. Well, sounds like you have your work cut out for you then. But I do like the design of the engine. That's well done. But did you just set it up so that any interaction will cause that to happen? Okay. So what we want to do, the way that we're causing the asteroids to change size is with this pulse component. And so what we do is we set the local scale directly. But what I actually want to do is instead of what you saw was the actual UI, I just changed the editor code. Oh, okay. Okay, I see. Yeah, that was well done joke. So yeah, the way that we're doing this currently, the way that we change the scale, is we set the scale directly. I don't want to do that. What I want to do instead is I want to set a target scale. And so the idea behind that is that we will always lerp towards the target scale. And by proxy, what will happen is we'll just start the current scale at 0, 0, 0 for the asteroids, and then by proxy they will just, grow into existence whenever they get spawned. So let's do a public float. Let's create a float. We'll say target scale. And then what we will do is we will say that the target scale is equal to sine times magnitude. Probably plus base scale dot mag. Probably be like base scale dot, I don't know, we'll use the x from that. And then we'll add the sine dot magnitude. That'll be the target scale. Then what we'll do is we'll say the local scale is equal to vector3 dot lerp. And we'll lerp between, I love to lerp things. It's just the best. It gives you the best animations. Not really, but it's like, I don't know. What would you call it, percentage, guys? What is it? Wish? wish animations or something, you know, like animations on a budget. Anyway, so we'll say that this is the transform dot local scale. Then we'll lerp to the target scale. The target scale is not actually a vector 3, but it could be. So there's no reason to not have it be vector 3. Yeah, we'll keep it that way, and then this will be the base scale, and then we'll just multiply u. Base scale times that. No, we need to add vector 3 dot 1 times that. That's what we need to do. So with vector 3 dot 1, this is just 1, 1, 1. So multiply 1, 1, 1 by the like additional scale that we want, and then we add back in the base scale, and that's the target. And so now we'll just lerp to the target scale, and this will lerp 1/20th of the way, and so this will get us roughly where we want to go. The animations won't be smooth anymore; they will be a little bit strange, but I want to see what it'll do to them. But anyway, by proxy, this will just make it so that they grow into existence, which is kind of what we want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of the, actually what that'll mean is that the base scale, because that gets read, actually that won't work. Let's just set the base scale to public, and we'll just not read it from here. That'll be fine, yeah. So let's go to the actual asteroids themselves. So this one is 1, 1, 1. So that means that we want the base scale itself to be 1, 1, 1. So 1, 1, and 1. And then for the medium, we want, oh wait, actually, we just have the base scale, I guess, be 1, 1, 1. Oh, is it only the graphics? No, it's not only the graphics that we change. Is that true? That's the medium. Oh, do we only change the graphics? Actually, that's fine though, because whenever we rescale this, the collider and graphics go with it. Okay, that's actually fine. So that's super convenient. We'll just keep it at 1, 1, 1. Okay. So yeah, now if we set the default size of all these to be 0, then yeah, I really like how the film grain just changes randomly all the time. They should grow into existence. Yeah, there we go. They just like pop into existence. I love that. And then yeah, the animation, it's not the same, but it's actually probably fine, because they animate like faster near the edges. They animate faster like whenever they're I don't know how to say it. They animate faster whenever they reach one of the local minimum or maximum. Eventually we'll add player death. That'll be fun. Alright, but we are trying to just make sure that everything works. Okay, and then you. So yeah, they pop into existence. They don't quite... Yeah, they don't quite just spawn, they don't quite just jump into existence. They actually have a spawn animation, which I like. You might even have to add like a death animation for them, but that might be too much. Yeah, I do like this. I'm trying to think of what else we could do with it. More might be too much though. Alright, let's work on actually getting the player to die. That'll be fun. I think all we have to do for that, well actually, where do we have our... We have the player controller components. I think this is on the actual ship itself. Yes, this is on the ship. So, there's a couple ways we could be doing this. One of them is we could respawn the ship itself. Another one is that we could, what is it? We could just make the ship invisible whenever the player dies, and then just play the death animation. That's one way we could do it. I think what we'll do is we'll just turn the graphics off, and then we will... Well, actually, we don't need to turn the trail stuff off. Might actually be kind of neat to keep that. Let me see what images I actually created. So we have effects. We have triangles. We could have the player explode into little triangles. That's probably fair. Effects, that. We have the ships, and then we have the asteroids. Okay. And we'll just have the player explode, like the asteroids do. So what we'll do is so whenever two things collide in Unity, we get a message for onTrigger enter. So we can say private void onTrigger enter 2D. So this will be called when another object that has a collider enters our collider. And this will be just the other collider. And so what we'll say is, let's move this up here where it belongs. What we will do is, what does this actually descend from? Oh yeah, that, okay. So what we'll say is if other, say, so we can say other.getComponent asteroid component. So this will tell us if the other object has an asteroid component. So what we can do is we can say, well, really all we need to do is we need to just say if other has this component. We can say not, and then we'll just return. So what happens is if the other object has an asteroid component, this will return something that's not null. So this, if a game object is not null and you put the not in front of it, it converts it to a Boolean value, and that'll mean that it's true. That'll mean that it's true, so this will become false, so this will never happen. But if it is null, then this will return null, and so it'll become false, which will be converted to true because of the not, and then we'll return. So basically, if the other object doesn't have an asteroid component, then we just ignore it. And so what we will do is, in this case, we want to turn off whatever the graphics are. So I think we need to reference a sprite renderer for that. We need to say sprite renderer. This is the renderer. We'll need to set that to inactive. We'll say renderer dot enabled. Whoops. Enabled is equal to false, so we turn that off. And then we're going to set our velocity to 0. So what this will do is this will make it so that equals vector 2.0. So this will make it so that the trail still shows up, but it disappears. Like it'll fade out of existence as we do. Percentage guy. Though I like how the engine is actually going. Definitely an upgrade. Yeah. Restarting a project, it always feels like an upgrade. Until you get, until you realize that, it has fewer problems until it just has different problems. But yeah, there's always that temptation to just restart a project. And sometimes it can be helpful, like it can get you out of a bad situation sometimes. So we can set this to that, and then what we want to do is we want a respawn. So say public void respawn. So what this will do is this will tell the renderer to be enabled again. So we'll say that it's enabled, and then we will have the, well actually no, that's fine. What we want to do is, now that we have this, what we want to do is we want to have a variable. We also want to serialize this. We want to have a protected bool for dead. So this will just track whether or not the player is dead. And so in the case of onTrigger enter, so if the player is dead, then we just return, because we don't want to do anything else. And then in the case of this, we just say that the dead is equal to true. And then in update, we say if we're dead, then we just return. And handle input and handle fire will never fire because we've already set dead to true. So let's say dead equals false in respawn. So what we do is when we die, what we want to do is, well, actually we also want our position to change, right? So we want to say transform.position is equal to vector3 or vector2.0. So this will put us in the center of the screen, it'll turn the renderer back on, and it'll make it so that we can move again. And we need to spawn the explosion, but we'll do that later. So what we're going to do is when the player dies, actually, we'll just create a public void die method, right? That'll work. Yeah, that'll work. And so what we can do is we can say if dead return. And so what we want to do is we'll just put this in the die method. And then we'll make this just say, you know, die. So if there's an asteroid, try to kill us. If we're already dead, we do nothing. So when we die, we set the renderer to enable equals false, rigid body velocity to 0, and we set the fact that we're dead. When we respawn, we set our position to 0, which is the center of the screen. We set the renderer to be enabled, and then we set dead to be false. Okay, so because 2.0 has actual UI, while 1.0's startup menu was literally text on a black background, and an editor wasn't a thing. I originally did want to make an editor, but just didn't. The frame is even still named editor and click team. Ah, okay. So yeah, it's like well, I mean, so you can consider like 1.0 to be a prototype, right? And that's one thing that people do in actual like software development is they do like prototyping. So they'll create like a bad version of a piece of software, and then, you know, they'll look at all the bugs and flaws that come up, and then they will, you know, go from there. And so one thing that might be useful is, you know, decide like all the features you want on your engine, and then create prototypes of each one. And that way you can see what it's like to design, you know, like a scene graph. You can see what it's like to design, you know, like a project editor, things like that, but they can be simplified because they don't have to rely on the rest of the engine actually working. 1.0 wasn't a prototype, it's just, well, there's no difference, right? There's no difference between a prototype and a bad attempt. I guess a prototype is just a bad attempt where you know it's a bad attempt. But yeah, I mean, that's what I would recommend you do, is sort of just decide on all the engine features you want, and then, you know, create like a prototype of each one. And then that way, the prototype, you know, you can focus on designing the feature so that it's, you know, good, and then, you know, you can try to pull them together in some other, you know, some other way. But I think this will work. Let's test it. Okay, so we get hit. So something has not been assigned. Ah, sprite renderer was not assigned. Okay. So in graphics, yep, sprite renderer was not assigned. So because in here this wasn't assigned, we were just getting a little error. So that's why we couldn't turn invisible. Alright, so that's interesting. Why did that happen? Kill us. There we go. So you see the trail fades out of existence, and then, oh yeah, we don't respawn, because I was going to say, right, we don't respawn. In Unity, what you can do is you can, if we wanted to call this method after a certain number of seconds, there's a couple ways to do that. One easy one is you can say invoke. You can say invoke, and then you can say the method name, which is respawn, and then you can say invoke that after, you know, 2 seconds. So we stay dead for 2 seconds. We'll stay dead for 1 second. So whenever we die, we invoke respawn after 1 second. Right, so we die, and then 1 second, and then we respawn. There we go. So yeah, now we can die. We are mortal. mortality comes fear of existence. I don't know. We probably want a death animation at some point. That would be useful. Yeah, other than that, it's almost ready for like the WebGL build. I gotta think about some things. I think whenever the asteroids spawn, we probably want to make the player invulnerable for a second. And the idea behind that is just so that they don't, get an asteroid that spawns right on top of them. Or what we could do is we could have like a game object that kind of indicates where the asteroid is going to spawn. That's probably what we want to do. Is we probably want a game object that indicates where the asteroid will spawn. And that's fine. We can do that. That's pretty easy to do. I'm trying to think here. All right. I do like that I survived through the first level, though. That's always good. Yeah, we probably also need to display what level the player's on. That would be helpful. Yeah. Okay, let's do that. So, a couple things. Or we just make something that prevents the asteroids from spawning inside the player in the first place. Yeah, but that's hard. It's hard to do. It's hard to guarantee that the asteroids, because there's a lot of problems with that. You have to know where the player is going, like where they will be in a couple frames. You also have to know, you basically need like a bubble where they wouldn't respawn or they wouldn't spawn inside the player. And then you'd have to make sure, I think it's just a little bit too difficult. I mean, they already spawn away from the center of the screen, which is where you'd assume the player is going to be. But I think that indicating to the player where they're going to spawn is just probably more fair. I mean, what you could do is you could just move the player back to the center of the screen, but that's kind of like an older game design thing, and that's why I want to avoid it, because I just want to, have it be continuous. But yeah, I did consider the possibility of that. Let's open GIMP. What we're going to do is we're going to create like a little spinning target or something, a little spinning X. That'll probably work. Let's create a new, let's say 512 by 512. That's probably fine. And then just cut out like a piece at the edge. No, that's not working. It's not giving me a perfect square. Alright, let's just cut out like a chunk like that. Then what we can do is we can add a layer mask, transfer to layers alpha channel. No. What do I want to do? Well, we do want the alpha channel. Yeah, and then we can cut that way. No, we want to cut that way, and then we want to colors invert. Oops, no. We want this selected, we want that selected, we want to do colors invert. And then we can grab that, copy, paste, and then paste. I think that's roughly a square. I think that's not square. Damn it. It's annoying. Alright, fine, we'll do it. Do it the hard way. Apply layer mask. We'll do it the easy way. So we put a thing here, and then we copy that. Then we say layer, transform, rotate that way. And we just align this. Should end up with something that's like an X. Actually, no, we won't. Okay, never mind. This is annoying. There's got to be an easier way to do this. I thought you could make a square easily, but no, this is not. And this is a square, but there's no way to guarantee where it's aligned. Actually, there an easy way to just make this? Alright, if we just grab... never mind, I'm not doing this. I'm gonna go into Inkscape and do it, because I can do it in Inkscape. Let's see, document properties, we don't need page border. There's a couple ways to do this, so we'll just grab, I don't know, a line. Oops. Need the line to be kind of like that, yep. Set the stroke to be, that's at 1, I don't know, 4, no. 3? No. 2, that'll work. Okay. And we'll just flip this. And then we can flip this that way? Yes, okay. Then we can set the color to be completely white. Why is that not completely white? That's interesting. Alright. Then we can export the selection at 512 by 512. Export as, not that. Yeah, we can export to asteroids, images, just an X. There we go. I have caps lock on, that's the problem. Alright, there we go. X. Then we export. Alright. And we can close that without saving. Okay, so now we have the X, which is not in here, it's in there. And then what we will do is we will have, it's in images, it's in the X. This will be 512, we'll apply that. All of that's fine. Jeez, my chair. What the hell is with this thing? I think something just actually broke. No, it's fine. Okay. Alright. What was I doing? Oh yeah. Have the X. Okay, that doesn't look half bad. We'll probably want the size to be a little bit... Actually, no, I think the size is probably fine. So we need a... This is the spawn indicator. We need a... I think it's a color copy component, yeah. And then I guess we'll just have like some kind of component that causes it to spin. So we'll have like a scripts, we'll have a spin component. Spin component. Yeah, have that, and then we'll set this private void update. And so all we want to do is we want to have a speed, so we'll have a protected float, and this will be the speed, and we'll say that's at 1. Then we'll serialize that. Then we can say transform.local rotation, or no, is it just rotation? It's rotation. And we'll say that we're going to multiply that by quaternion.euler at 0, 0, and I don't know, speed times time dot delta time dot delta time. Something like that. So we rotate it by the speed times time delta time every frame, and so we'll say, I don't know, 120 degrees a second is probably the way to do it. So now let's have this, and then this will have a spin component. Alright. So let's just create a couple of those and see what we end up with. See what they look like. What's going on, the percentage guy? I want to try and get Vulcan with the engine, but he isn't trusting the EXE. That's fair. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to trust. It's hard to trust stuff that comes from the internet. If you put it on... Why are we not respawning? That's interesting. if you put it on, what's it called? You put it on the, where did you distribute it before? I don't remember. Wherever you distributed it before, if you put it there, he might trust it. Because it would have gone through a virus check. Also, why did the player not respawn there? I'm actually very curious now. What did I break? Maximize. Because the player didn't die. Their player died, but they are not respawning. Why is it not respawning? Is invoke unreliable for some reason? That's interesting. Or did I erase the actual invoke? I think I erased it. So in here, yeah, invoke respawn after 1 second. I think something I did caused it to get erased, and I don't remember what it was. Yeah, now we should respawn. And yeah, I'm okay with the sort of spawn indicators. I'm thinking that we probably need to put these at 0.5 and 0.5. That's probably fine. And then what we'll do is we'll have a spawn on death component. And so the idea is that we'll create the spawn indicators, and then we'll create the spawn on death, or they'll have a spawn on death component, or on destroy component. So the idea is we'll create these, we'll destroy them after a certain amount of time, and then in the on destroy, so we'll have a protected game object, spawn on destroy. We'll serialize this. Then we'll say private void on destroy. So in Unity you have this on destroy method. What this will do is whenever it gets destroyed, whenever this component gets destroyed, it will call this code. So we'll say instantiate spawn on destroy at transform.position and quaternion.identity. So just spawn it where we are, and we'll spawn it at 0, 0, 0 as the rotation. And so what we'll do now is we'll make the spawn indicator itself a prefab. We'll create the spawn on destroy component, and then we'll spawn a large asteroid in its place when it's destroyed. We will make it a prefab. And then what we'll do is in the game manager, instead of having this be the asteroid, so we'll go into the game manager, instead of spawning asteroids, what we will do is we will spawn, this didn't go into, no it did, okay. Instead of having this be the asteroid, this will be the spawn indicator. So we can go in here, and so what we'll do is for each asteroid, we'll create a spawn indicator. And then this will be the var indicator. Then what we'll say is we'll say indicator dot destroy, or dot game object dot destroy. Or no, wait. Oh, sorry. We'll say destroy because destroy is a static method, so you can see. It doesn't indicate here that it's static, but I know that it's from game object dot destroy. Yeah, it's from game object dot destroy, but you don't actually need the game object here because we are a game object. Or we have a game object. So you can say destroy, and then we'll destroy the indicator. And then we'll do that after 1 second. So we give the player 1 second of warning before the asteroid actually spawns. I think that's fair. We'll give them 2 seconds. So those indicators will show up and spin for 2 seconds, and then they'll be destroyed. And then in the on destroy, because they have the spawn on destroy component, in their on destroy they'll spawn an asteroid. So we need to change this to the spawn indicator here. And so now you'll see that in a second. So you see we get the spawn indicators, and then in a second they appear as asteroids. There we go. Oh boy, we just died. Yep. Okay, I like that. Oh, no. Alright. We do need an explosion to play when the player dies, but that's fine. We can do that pretty easily. I think he trusts it now because I put it on Game Jolt. Yeah, that's what I would say, is just put it in Game Jolt because he will be better for him. It'll be easier to trust it because it's been through a virus scan. Wait, let me actually... Dang it, I want to see his reaction, unfortunately. Which makes sense, yeah, they have integrated. Well, most distribution sites do. God, I'm trying to say that word. Yeah, the only reason I trust is because you've sent me an exe before, so it's one of the only reasons I trust it. Yeah, so we have all of that. We just need to make the player play the destroy effect when they die, or the explosion effect when they die. So that's easy to do. In the player controller component, we'll just create a new field. Don't worry, I'll clip it. Okay, thank you. Game object explosion. So, and then we'll just serialize that. And I think the explosions destroy themselves, if I remember. I don't remember how the asteroids do it. So the asteroid, on asteroid destroyed. Ah, so they call on asteroid destroyed. But that doesn't do it. By the way, do you know how to sound design? If by sound design you mean add sounds to a game, I know how to add sounds to a game. Do I know how to do that in a good way? The answer is no. It depends on what you're trying to do. I mean, we'll be adding sounds to this probably tomorrow, actually. So let's, whenever the player actually dies, so in the die method, what we want to do is we want to say explosion, or we want to instantiate an explosion. Instantiate explosion at transform.position and quaternion.identity. No, I mean make sounds. Yeah, I can do that. It depends on the kind of sounds. Like explosions are pretty easy to make. Did you see whenever we were doing the Games Plus Jam stuff? Where is it? Let me try to find it. Hold on. If I go here, and I go to here, that game, Wings of Steel, all the sound effects for like the missiles and stuff, I made those. So yeah. I think there's, yeah, with that, like I think all of the missile sound effects, the destruction sound effects, like just all that stuff, that's stuff that I made. It's not great, but it works. Yeah, I can do it. Why do you ask? So this is the explosion. So this has the destroy after seconds component. That's what I thought. Okay. So give the player like the smaller of the explosions, because I think they're closer to the small asteroid size. If you want a good site to make 8-bit sounds, yeah, SFXR, yeah. Yeah, that's part of what I intended to use. There's also a Unity asset pack for it. But yeah, I definitely intend to use that site. I'm trying to die so that we can actually see the explosion. Oh, that's interesting. Why did that not spawn an explosion? Let's unmaximize you. Here, let's try to die. Why is it so hard to die with all this? Like, you would think that this would be like the most intense and stressful thing, but no. Oh my god, I can't actually get one of them to hit me. There we go. And it didn't do it. Why did it not do it? Should instantiate that. Huh. Why is that not working? But yeah, the sound. What do you mean about making sounds? Do you need someone to do that or something? Oh, it's funny how easy it is to make decent sounds with the use of a simple free sound. Yeah, yeah, I agree. That's typically what I do. Oh, it's because I'm spawning in a small asteroid. Oh, jeez, it's an explosion small. That's what we need to spawn. But yeah, that's how I tend to do it. Is just you get like some object and you make the sounds with your with the object or your mouth or something like that. You can also just sort of like record yourself saying random words, and it does just start to sound like stuff if you mess with it enough in Audacity. There we go. Get like a little explosion. I don't know if that's enough. I think the player needs like the medium explosion actually. Say the medium explosion. Alright. So let's try to die. Yeah, there we go. I think the medium explosion is probably fine. Yeah. I like that. Okay. So now we need it to consume lives basically. We need a way that lives display. So that's actually not too terribly difficult. Die. I think the explosion should be a little pop, not just not an explosion, just like a balloon popping. Maybe? That'd be interesting. I mean, the player is kind of fragile. So I don't know. We'll have to mess with it tomorrow and see what we get. All right. Yeah, I think this is turning out pretty nicely. Whenever we get like whenever we get all the stuff actually done, what I will do is I'll put like a web build for it. Because why not? Nothing in the yeah, that's true. There's not really any rhyme or reason to the rest of the game, so Oh boy. I'm not sure. It looked like that one asteroid spawned 3. It looked like it spawned 3 of the medium ones, but maybe that's just my imagination. Okay, what if every asteroid scaling and animation has a slight offset because they aren't in sync? What if every asteroid scaling in and out animation has an offset so they aren't in sync? I mean, we can do that. We can see what that's like. So is that in the asteroid component? No, that's in the pulse component. And so what we can do, we can easily do that. We can say private void awake, and we can have a protected float seed. We can just say the seed is equal to random.range between what? It needs to be I don't know, random between 1 and 100. It actually, well, no, it can be between 0 and the actual speed itself, because that's the only things that matter. Between 0 and speed. And so we'll just say times the seed, or plus, it's time.time plus the seed times the actual speed itself. So this will shift everything. And so now they should all be at different, they should all be out of sync. Yeah, there we go. They're all out of sync now. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I actually kind of like it better. I don't know. What are your thoughts? No, you don't. I mean, really, it would be nice if I just did like hold to fire. That would be nice, probably. It's not as many issues. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think it's better. Because, yeah, it avoids, like, the monotonous kind of pulsing that you get. Because people with... Yeah. What is JOKW? I don't know what that actually is. Let's see what we get. Alright. I don't know, should the player have... I mean, it seems like the player should have a spawn animation, but we can probably deal with that later. We probably need to deal with lives at this point. So, if we go into the canvas... Oh, joke, I see. Spelling error. Well, you never know. I mean, that probably doesn't help people with OCD. Just saying. The spelling error. Oh wow, that looks really trippy. Jeez, look at that. Also, you should make everything reset when the player dies instead of just respawning. Well, I mean, I think the original asteroids, does it actually reset the level, or does it just respawn you? I actually don't remember. Let's set this to be, I don't know, 20 by 20? Oh god, this is going to be impossible to edit in the scene. And we need this. So we need another thing. We need an empty here. And we need this to be the lives holder. Lives holder. Yeah, I mean, I think that it needs to be a little bit, like I want to have some modern sort of design, so I kind of want part of it to be, that the player, yeah, like it's more of a continuous type of thing rather than having the resets. But I don't know, maybe we add the resets later, I don't know. So this is 171 by 249, so we can say 17 by 24. And that's approximately the right scale. I mean, really, it'd be 25. I mean, what's the point of death if there's little... Well, there's going to be... So there's literally going to be... There's going to be lives. I just have to add that system. So this will be the lives holder, and this will be the... this will be a horizontal layout group. That's what it is. So yeah, we want that aligned to the upper left, but we want the padding to be maybe, or no, we want the position to be 10 and minus 10. But yeah, I agree. It makes no sense to have death if there's no penalty for it. Ooh, that's going to be interesting and hard to see, actually. So 20 and minus 20? Huh. So as we add more... Oh, that's interesting. So let's say the lives are spaced out by 10 or something, maybe 5. Let's see what that's like when we play it. If it really does look like that. Oh wow, that's that's gonna be tough. All right. Yeah, the problem is that it's gonna be, whenever you have more lives, it's gonna be very hard to deal with that mentally. I think that's where the ships appeared, like the lives in asteroids. I think they appeared up there to begin with, like in the original. I think that's how it worked. I'm not really trying to stay alive, I'm just trying to look at the lives. I mean, they obviously need to change color, but I don't know if that's... I don't know if I like that. I don't know if we need to find some other way to do that, but... Delete this, we'll call this template. And then we will do that. Okay. See you in just a minute, percentage guy. Alright. So what we need to do is in the game manager, or no, sorry, in the UI manager, what we need to do is when the player gets lives, we need to have this basically manage those lives. So what we want to do is we want to store two things. One, we want to store the actual template, and then we want to store the holder for the lives. And so we need two things. We need two rect transforms, or protected. We need a rect transform. This will be the lives holder. And we can serialize that. And we can have a protected, and I don't think it matters what type this is. So we'll have this be the life template. And then we will serialize this. And then what we'll do is we'll say public void set lives. Or no, we'll say either add life, and say public void remove life. That'll work. And so whenever we add life, what we'll do is we'll just instantiate the life template in the lives transform. So this is one of the overrides for instantiate. You can just say instantiate this type of object in this template, or in this transform, or yeah, with this as the parent. And so this will be the game object, this will be the life. And since the template is inactive, we just need to say life.setActive true. And then in remove life, what we need to do is we need to find the last child of the lives, the rect transform in lives. So what we can do is we can say lives.child count -1, or no, wait, actually, let me see. Destroy the detached child. Do you think you can say children? Have child count, okay. So you can say child count -1. So that is the last index of the child, or this is the last child, the index of the last child, that's what I'm trying to say. So you can say lives.getChild. So we're going to get the child at the last index, and then we're going to say, on top of all that, we're going to destroy, we call destroy on it. And then we need to say, I think, game object. Because I think getChild returns a transform. And so yeah, we just want to destroy the game object at the last index. That will destroy the life. That'll destroy the life at the right, the rightmost one. And this will add them to the right. So all we have to do in the player controller component, or in game manager, we probably want the game manager to deal with this, right? So we'll probably say public void on player death or something. Public void on player death. So when the player dies, I think we say UI manager component dot instance. Then we say remove life. We also need the UI manager component to track the number of lives, or no, we want the game manager to track the number of lives. So say this is a protected int lives. And what we want to do is we want to say if lives greater than 0. So if the player has, well actually, if the lives is greater than or equal to 0, so you get 2 extra ships, which amounts to 3 lives. And if that is greater than or equal to 0, then we will just respawn the player, whatever that might be. Hold on. No, actually, it's fine. Yes, so we remove a life, and then we probably want to say lives minus minus. So this will decrement the number of lives by 1. So if the player had 0 ships, they'll now have -1, and so this will never trigger. If they had 1 ship left, then they will have 0 lives. I'll be right back. Give me like 5 minutes. It's about 12. Let me get some water and some food, and I will yeah, think through this for a second. Yeah, I'll see you in just a minute. Or in 5 minutes, actually. Alright, and I am back. Apologies for that. I needed to get some water. My throat was getting a bit dry. Anyway, so we're working on removing lives when the player actually dies. So we want to remove them on the UI. That's good. We remove them, the actual counter in the game manager itself. And then what we will do is we will say if there is a greater than 1 lives, I think what we need is the player controller component passed in here. This is the player itself, because that has the respawn code on it. So I think we can say player.start, or no, player.invoke. Yeah, so we can invoke respawn on the player. Actually, no, I think we can just call respawn. Let's just call player.respawn. How about that? And we'll move the, well, no. We won't do that. We'll just do player.invoke respawn. Generally speaking, this is a bad practice to link methods using names, but it's probably fine for our purposes. So if the lives are greater than that, then we will do that. Otherwise, what we want to do is we'll just debug.log game over, just so that we see that it recognizes the game over state, and we'll deal with how to reflect that on the UI a bit later. So in the case of the player component here, rather than having it call respawn when we die, what we'll do is we will call game manager component.instance.onPlayerDeath, and then we'll pass in ourselves. And so we just notify the game manager that we died, and if the game manager wants to respawn us, then it will. Otherwise, it'll do something else. So now what we need to do is we need to display the number of lives on the screen. So we'll say lives equal 3. That's the, or we'll say lives equal 2, because that's, I think, the default. So that means you have your ship, and then you have 2 others, and then if you, go through those 2, you don't do anything else. So we will say on awake, what we want to do is we want to say UI manager component. Well, actually, no. In private void start, we'll do this, just in case we want to do some other stuff in the UI manager itself. So in start, let's actually invoke that. Yeah, there we go. We'll invoke this in start, and then in here, we'll say UI manager component.instance.addLife. And we want to do this for the number of times that we have a life. We want to say, let's say for int life equals 0. Life is less than lives. Life plus plus. So basically, we just iterate through all the lives, and then for each life we have, we add 1 life. All right, so we won't serialize that. But assuming we did all of this correctly, the number of lives should just automatically appear. Apologies, I know that was a bit, I know that was a lot of stuff for one sitting, but okay. So life template has not been assigned. All right. So that means that, lives and template there were not assigned. So that's what that error was from. All right. So now we get 2 lives in the top corner. That's right. And so now if we fly headfirst into an asteroid, we lose 1 of our lives. And then we respawn. And fly headfirst into an asteroid, we lose a life. And then fly headfirst into an asteroid, and then it says the game's over. And we don't respawn. Alright. Alright. Vulcan changed up his schedule. Oh, he changed it, huh? When is he... So he streams a little later now. When is he streaming? Is he streaming... Is he going to stream today, or sorry, when is he going to stream? Like in hours from now, when is he going to stream? Let's see. I think all of this is fine. So when the game is over, it's a question of what we do then. I mean, I guess we need like a restart kind of thing. So this is the game manager. I mentioned this on Tuesday, but for the next week I'm changing it up. 6 to 8. These times work better for me. So 6 to 8 UK time. Is all of the UK in one time zone? Is that really a thing? Oh. Oh, okay. So he starts streaming now, okay. For the next few weeks. Ah, okay. Is all of the UK in one time zone? Zone space. Oh wow, oh wow. Huh. I guess it is. Okay. So yeah, I guess in 45 minutes when we're done with this, we'll raid Vulcan. So yeah. Okay. So let's start level. And then when there's game over, I think we just need to do like a restart game. Something like that. So it'd be like private void, or not private void, protected void. I need, yeah, protected. This will be a restart game. Whoops. Restart game. Yes. Okay, so when we restart the game, what we want to do is we want to say that the lives are equal to 2, that the current level, the level, or current level is equal to 1, and then after we set those things, what we will, well actually first off we want to say find objects of type. We want to find all the asteroid components and we want to destroy them. So I think we can do toList and then for each, and we can just say for each asteroid destroy asteroid. So this will just destroy all of the game objects of the asteroid type. 10 types of those who understand binary and those who don't. But yeah, there are 2 types of people in the world, those who understand binary and those who don't. There's also people, well actually, let me modify your joke, and it's a different version of this joke. Is that how you do it? No, that's the, there we go. There we go. It's another version of that joke. Fun fact, trinary computers were actually a thing that were created at one time. I think it was either the Russians or the Germans that tried doing it instead of binary, and they realized that it just wasn't that useful. So they stopped doing it. And then after this, we'll just invoke start level. And then we'll do that after 1 second. It's like binary, but it's trinary. So like 0 is 0, then you have 1, which is 1, then you have 2, which is 2, and then you have 3, which is 1, 0, then you'd have 4, which is 1, 1, and then 5, which would be 1, 2, right? And 6, which is 2, which is 2, 0, yeah. Basically, that's trinary. It's just binary, but you have an extra. You use 1 and 2 instead of that. So yeah, it's a base 3. So with restart game, we have all this, and then we have start level, and then start level does this. And then we'll have invoke start level. After 2 seconds, we'll have invoke. With start level, have find object of type. Yeah, you can have like arbitrary bases. So you could have like base 11 if you really hated yourself. I'll say respawn after half a second. And then here we will set up the initial life counter as such, like that. So now I think all of this will work. So we respawn the player after half a second, and then 1 second later, or 2 seconds later, we'll start the level. And so after the player dies, we say game over, and then we do restart game. Something like that. No, actually, no, that's fine. We'll just restart the game automatically. Alright, so let's try this. And I think this will work. Alright, so what will happen is we have the asteroids, they will start to spawn, fly into one, kill ourselves, then we fly into another one, kill ourselves again. This is our last life. It's amazing how difficult it can be to actually like kill yourself in asteroids. Like it happens when you don't want it to happen, but like, yeah. There we go, okay. I don't know what just happened there. Why did that not destroy all the asteroids? Asteroid.game object, that's why. Destroyed all the asteroid components, but not the game objects on them, or that they were on. Yeah. Alright, so it's 1, that's 2, and that's 3. Okay, so that destroyed all the asteroids, and yeah, there we go. That restarts the game, but it didn't reset our lives. Interesting. Why did it not reset our lives? Not really, why did that not happen? Because we set the lives to 2. Interesting. Oh, is that because at here, I see. Because at 0, what it is whenever we die, we were destroying the template, I think. I think that's the issue. So say remove life, and then, yeah, okay. So what we want to do is, if lives is greater than or equal to 0, so actually we say lives minus minus. Lives minus minus. If lives say greater than 0, strictly greater than 0, then we'll actually remove it. Otherwise, the player doesn't have any lives, and there's no point in removing any. Something like that. I don't know. It's getting pretty bad, but we're getting pretty near the end of actually finishing the game, so that's all I care about. But yeah, I think we ended up destroying the template is what happened. So let's make sure we don't do that. Okay, and now this shouldn't destroy the template. Okay, there we go. Template didn't get destroyed. Perfect. We probably do need to reset our score though, because I don't think that resets. It's interesting how those two asteroids are right inside of each other. That's funny. Alright. So yeah, after this we can make the lives change color with the player. That was an interesting effect at the edge of the screen there. And there we go. Probably need to add a limit on the fire rate of the player. Yeah, I kind of like this. Then maybe after the stream I'll add like a WebGL build or something and try to get it on itch.io. I mean, really, I think the background might need to pulse a little bit. Might need to change between like a slightly less dark version and less dark color and a slightly more dark color. Yeah, I think if we die here, I think our score doesn't get reset. Yeah. So no, it doesn't. Okay. What we will do is in restart game, I think we need to say that the UI manager.instance. I think we need to actually set the score. Yeah, the current score. I'm going to say public void reset score. And so what this will do is this will say the current score is equal to 0, and then the score.text is equal to, well, actually, just say add score. Add score, and then we'll just say 0. And actually what I want is I want this to be public, and I want current score. I want a get. Alright, I'll see you, percentage guy. Have a good day, man. Current score. Alright, get, and then we'll have protected set. Here we go. Okay, so that way we can get the score on the game manager. What is this? Oh yeah, reset score. There we go. I think everything is fine here. Alright. So if I did that right, then what should happen is this should reset the score. When we die, so we just get some score, and then we fly into various asteroids. Nope, missed. Still missed. Let's see if we can hit you. There we go. Alright, what's a good one to try to get hit by? That one. No, that one. I think it'll just hit us normally, right? There we go. Yeah, so our score resets and our lives reset. Okay. Alright, I'm kind of happy with that. So let's see, what if we look at the background here? What if we made the background kind of go... hang on, is that not... Why is that not working? Does it need to be this? Ah, yeah, okay. Yeah, what if it lurked between, like, you know, an off black and some other off black? I think that's probably too much, right? It's probably too much. Yeah, I think it's too much. Like too much like screen, you know, too much flashing on the screen, I think. Yeah, I think otherwise everything's probably good. So actually making the lives themselves change color is probably not that hard. I think we just need, because I think these are not sprite renders, these are images. So we just need like a color copy image component. And of course there's better ways to do this, but we're just going to do it this way. This would be the color copy image component. So we have a version for text, we have a version for sprites, and now we have a version for images. So we'll just go to the color copy thing. This just takes a sprite renderer, so we'll just grab this and paste it in here. And as always, this is not the best of practices, but, you know, without being too crazy, it's hard to, you know, it's hard to get, hard to do all the good practices. So yeah, say that this is a renderer now, so we have image renderers, and so all we need is say we add a color copy component, color copy image component. So now this will cause the lives to copy. Okay, perfect. All right then, I like that. All right, so what else can we do? I think this is probably actually a good place. Oops, can't do that. Okay. I think this is a good place to do the WebGL build. We do have 30 minutes, so let's create like a sort of menu sort of scene where we have the player do stuff before they actually start the game. That'll probably be fine. So what we can do is we can create an empty, and then we can just say that it fills out the screen like this. And this will be the in-game UI. This will be just the HUD. Then we can put score and lives inside of that. And so now if we want to hide it, we can just hide it. And so this should work normally if I know what I'm doing. Yeah, this works normally. Okay, good. And yeah, we can just like hide this if we need to. Okay, good. Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll have the HUD, and then we'll have another type of UI. And this will be, we can do a create empty. We'll have this filled screen. All right. And so what this will be, so this will be the menu. And so let's hide the HUD for now so that we don't have to look at it. And we can add, I don't know, let's add a UI Text Mesh Pro. And let's put the Metal Lord font on this. Yeah, okay. And actually, we're going to edit it in this window because otherwise it's impossible. All right, and we'll call this Acid Droids. Yeah. Make that bold, center it. We can disable wrapping so that it just does this. All right, this will be the title. And then, of course, this is going to have, actually what we'll do is we'll split this in half. And this will be title acid. This will be title droids. So rather than have the entirety of the UI change color, we're only going to have the word acid change color, because I think that'll be cooler. This will be acid. Whoops. And this will just be droids itself. And this, problem is I'm not really sure how to make this whole thing centered. So we can move you like that. And move you like that. And then how do we actually center this normally? And that's roughly centered, I think. And so we'll have you with the color copy text component. Yeah, all right. And so what we'll get is the word acid will change. Yeah, there we go. I like that. That's cool. All right. And we'll have to hide the player as well. We'll just keep it inactive for now. That's probably fine. Well, actually, no, what we'll do is we can start the player as dead. So we can expose that later. But yeah, we won't have the player showing. And of course, it's not hiding them for some reason, but whatever. Start you as inactive, that's probably fine. And then I'm trying to think of what we can actually do. So we'll have, let's create an empty parent here and just have it at 0, 0. Then we'll have the, oh, whoops, not empty parent. Let's create an empty parent of you and put you in there as well. So this is the title. This is acid. This will be droids. Yeah, there we go. And so we probably want the height and width to be 0, and then we want you to both have a 0 Y position. And that way we can just move this up like that. And actually this needs to be over here a little bit, I think. No, actually I think it needs to be over here a little bit. Oh. Over here a little bit, I think. Yeah, that's roughly the center. Okay. So now we have the word acid. We'll change color. That's good. Now what else do we need? We definitely need a start button. It's a question of how we're actually going to do all this, though. So we won't have... I think we're not going to have the default tinting that Unity has. I think we're not going to have this. Actually, we want this to be a Text Mesh Pro. So we want this to be a button with TMP. We probably want the Metal Lord font as well. This will be interactable. We'll just remove this. There will be no transition because we'll handle the transition ourselves. And this will be the label. And so we will make this bold. It will be white. We'll give it the Metal Lord font. And this will be start. And then this will be start. And let's duplicate this. And what we'll do is we'll have this be, I guess, score. Like a leaderboard. Score. And then we'll have a, what will it be at the bottom? It will be like, I'll have two more. We'll have quit, and then we'll have settings. We'll call this settings. And then we'll have exit. And then we'll have exit here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have it so that we have an on hover sort of component. An on hover, because right now there's no animation to these, I don't think. Oh, that's very strange. I don't know how I feel about that. That's weird. But yeah, what we're going to have is whenever we hover over a button, it's going to turn the color copy component on. And so what that'll do is that'll make it so that only that button will have the acid coloring. I think that'll be cool. And so that's actually like super easy to do. It might seem complex, but it's not. So we're going to create I think we'll call this a pointer hook, or call this a pointer event component. So what we're going to do is I think this works, but I haven't ever tried it. So what we'll do is we'll say using Unity engine.event systems, and we'll just have this override the iPointer enter and iPointer exit handler. And so what these will do is these will give us callbacks for when the pointer enters and then the pointer exits. And I think we can say protected Unity event. I think we need Unity engine.events. Unity engine.events. So this might be a little complicated for a beginner thing, but it's probably fine. So this is a Unity event. So this is on pointer enter, and then we'll have on pointer enter. Then we'll have a protected Unity event on pointer exit. And so we can serialize both of these. And so what these are is these are just pointers to other methods. Like these are pointers to Unity methods. And so what we'll do is on pointer enter, we'll just say on pointer enter dot, I think we just say invoke. So I think this is guaranteed to be non-null. And the same thing is true of on pointer exit. And what we'll do is to all of these buttons, we'll add a color copy component. We'll add a color copy, in here, in the labels, we'll add a color copy text component. So normally what this will do is this will cause the text to change color, but we don't want that. We only want it to do that whenever it's hovered. So with the label selected, if we turn off the color copy component, it will disable it. So these no longer copy the colors. That's fine. What we'll do is we'll add a onPointer enter to the buttons. So we'll say onPointer, pointer event component. And then in this case, we'll add two of these. And we'll reference the label both times. And of course, this all references the same button, but we'll fix that later. So what we'll say is in the color copy component, we'll just say that the enabled, or just target the enabled. And so what we can do is onPointer enter will enable it, onPointer exit will disable it. And so in, let's say, this component, where is it? In here, right? We just need to target U, and we need to target U and score. And then in start, we need to target U, and we need to target U. And then in settings, we need to target U, and we need to target U. And then in exit, we need to target U, and we need to target U. And so what we'll do is in start, and the color copy, we'll set bool enabled, and then color copy bool enabled. We'll set that to true and false. Color copy will say bool enabled, and then color copy bool enabled. And these are copying the settings from the previous event, which is kind of what we want. It just targets a different object. Yeah, I think this will be a cool way to show the selection. All right, so if I did that right, then this should, whenever we hover over something, oh, it doesn't. All right, what's the issue? Why is that not working? Is it because these don't have an image component? They may not have an image component. It might need, let me see here. What we might need to do is we might need to set this, the alpha to 1, and then it might work. See, I think it needs a renderable at least. Huh, that's not working either. Why is that not working? Can we not set this to background and then have like that? No. Huh. Thought for sure that would work. If we set this to 255? 255, I mean? Huh. That's interesting. Why is that not working? It's a raycast target. It's maskable. Buttons interactable. There's no transition. Yeah, we don't really want the transition though. Is it okay? So if I, let's say, copy the component and then I just remove it, and then we add it just here. If we say pointer event component. Hey, W, how's it going? So I'm trying to figure out the pointer or the event system stuff. I thought I had done this before and had this work. So let me just test that this part doesn't work, and then I'll show you what I'm trying to do. So if we grab this and we grab that, we say bool enabled and then bool enabled. Okay, let me double check. Jeez. Right, no, so that's not working. So what I'm trying to do, so I have a component. Where is it? So I have a component, it has two Unity events. And so basically what it is it has two Unity events, and then it just overrides the pointer event handler, or pointer enter and pointer exit. And so what I'm trying to do is when the pointer enters, I'm trying to invoke the pointer enter event, and when it exits, it's not working, or it's either not invoking the event, or the event's not doing what I thought it was doing. So let me try enter and exit. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Is I'm trying to get these to work, but I don't remember what the requirements are to actually make these work. Is there? Never seen it done like that before. Well, I know that there's like private void on pointer, or no, not on pointer enter, on mouse over or something, on mouse enter, on mouse exit. I might have to use those, but I know that there's a way to do it with these, and I seem to remember that with the UI, for some reason it was better. Is there an event system in the Steam? Right, graphics raycaster, you're right. You're right. I think oh no, this graphics raycaster. On the camera. Is that what it is? So we have two cameras, that might be part of it. So there's rendering path. So and a graphics raycaster on the camera. So there's this camera. But doesn't the graphics raycaster need to be here? Or am I wrong? And also, does this have... So this first selected, the event system. So this is the canvas, it renders to that camera. Do I want to render to that camera? No, I do not. Blocking mask? Is it something to do... I think you might be right. I think it might have something to do with with the weirdness of how I'm actually doing this. It's target display, there's main display, graphics settings. It's probably a setting with how I'm doing this, actually. So that's the culling mask, that's fine. I don't know if the UI is rendering to this camera. I think it is. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Huh. Oh, jeez. Alright. If I stop rendering the UI to that camera, and I run it through that camera, we get nothing. Interesting. So the only way to get something is through that camera. Yeah, it's definitely not, it's not giving me the events. Let me try with on mouse over. You're just using the old event system. Yeah, I am. Or the old input system, yeah. At least for this one. So let's try with on mouse over. Let's just see if it gets the default events, because if it doesn't, then we'll know that it's something else. But yeah, I seem to remember that there's a strange issue with this. Yeah. Pointer enter one should work fine as long as the intercept raycasts. Yeah, these are... As long as they, yeah. Does it have something to do with Text Mesh Pro? Like, do Text Mesh Pro objects not intercept raycasts for some reason? Like, how does it, like, do you need some kind of like renderable component for it to work? Or am I crazy on that? Because I thought you did. I thought that was like... Let's try this. So maybe it's... No, there's just no events being passed to this at all. So it's either something with the way that this is being rendered. Just need to enable raycast target. What if you add the component on the button instead? Yes, that's what I have here, is that it's off by default, really? Extra settings? So as long as just need to enable raycast on the TMP component. So what if you add the component to the button instead? So yeah, I have it on this button, but I wonder, so okay, what if I set this to actually render some kind of sprite, and then I set color to be, I don't know, solid blue, just so that it's not an alpha thing. Alright, let's check if this changes anything. So no, we're not getting any kind of events. I think it might have something to do with how I'm doing the rendering. Because I actually think that, oh god, I don't care about geekdom. Yeah, I think what's happening... Trying to think about this. It is very interesting that these are being rendered over the UI. That's very interesting. It means that something is wrong. That's what that means. It has to do with the clearing, I think. Because I think we want the UI on this camera, but I don't know why it's not rendering it. Is it because it's too big? Or is it something else? Trying to figure this out. I don't know. I'm thinking that this... I put this on everything. No, nothing happens. Okay. Say nothing. We want you to render that, and we want you to render that. Or no. Don't want you rendering that. We want you rendering that. Yeah, so I think what's happening... I think it's somehow... the event systems are not hooked up right or something. I don't know, it's weird. Yeah, even putting this just on the button, it doesn't... Actually, question, is the button actually getting any... Is the button actually getting anything? I bet you it's not. So we just make the button inactive when we click it. I bet you it's not even... I bet you the button's not even getting anything. No, the button isn't getting anything. Okay. So yeah, this is broken... How is this broken? Is there any way to set which camera is being used for the input stuff? It's like all of this is like, this is kind of the main camera. Or is it the main camera that does it? So we set this as the main camera and then we just untag this. Actually, let's fix that. Let's untag you and retag you. What'll happen? It's not doing anything. Oh, that's not right. Yeah, it's still not getting anything. So that's on that layer. unset that. So yeah, the buttons aren't getting anything, nothing's getting anything. So if we create just a new button, just a random new button, then what happens? So does this have any transitions associated with it? Like, does it actually work? No, okay, so the UI itself is just completely not working right now. And changing the rendering layer doesn't cause this camera to actually ever render the UI. And I'm not entirely sure why that's true. Is it because the canvas is on the wrong layer? No. Yeah, I'm very confused as to why none of this is actually working right. I mean, there's definitely ways around this, but it is kind of annoying. It should add everything you need when the canvas gets added. Yeah, so there's, like if you did it in a new scene, I think it work right away, I think. So we can try that. Let's try a new scene. Oh, this is interesting. I've not seen this before. Huh. Oh, this is cool. Oh, this is like from a scene template. Oh, this is cool. I've never seen this. Alright, I'm very happy with that. Oh, that's empty. Like, actually empty. Alright. Because whenever you create... So I've never seen the new scene thing, because whenever you create it from here, it doesn't do that. And that's how I always create scenes. So that's why I've never seen it. Oh, that's cool. Alright, so let's go here. This is the new scene. Yeah, so one thing I noticed is I think if you add a canvas directly, I don't think it... Oh no, I guess it does. But if you add a panel, I think it adds all the stuff you need. Let's look at this and let's add, I don't know, a UI button. Whoops. UI button, sure. So let's just add a new scene, and let's look at this in a new scene. So yeah, that works, but I think it has to do with our camera setup. I think that's the issue. So like putting this in here, this should still work, but I think if we grab this and move it to a new... So if we do that, that's fine. Main camera here. So yeah, that's on the default layer. If we stop doing this, what'll happen? So that still works. That's interesting. Okay. But I bet if we copy this, then move it back here. Yeah, it looked like the game was drawn over and the mouse input away from the menu. Yeah, I don't know why. Like, our camera setup is really weird. The way that we're doing the rendering is really hacked together, so that it might just be a side effect of that. But I think if we paste this and then we like delete the event system, I don't think it's gonna work. Oh, so that one works. Why? Huh. Trying to figure that one out. Ah, so it's because of the... Aha, okay. I got it. So it's rendering to that camera. It needs to render to this camera. That's what it is. It needs to render to that camera. Because I would bet... Right, so it's rendering to that camera, but I bet if we order you to render that, and then we order you not to render that... No. Okay. Something with the canvas setting, yeah. So it's gotta be something in here. Yeah, rendering to this camera it seems to work, but rendering, well, actually, I guess this doesn't matter. Why the screen space camera? Why is it screen space? That is a question. Oh yeah, so that it'll get, I think so that it gets the post-processing effects. I think that's why, because I think if it's a, yeah, I think if it's a world or screen space overlay, I don't think it will. Yeah, there we go. Now that's working. But yeah, it has to do with the screen space camera. And yeah, I think if we don't do this, I don't think it gets the effects. I think that's the issue. Because we're running one camera through another with like post-processing in a really like super hacky way to get a lot of these effects. Okay, so overlay doesn't add effects. Add the effects. Tricky, yeah. I mean, I think what I'm gonna do, I think the solution, since I can't figure this out, I think what I'm gonna end up doing is I'm just going to have, rather than having the buttons, I guess what I'll do is I'll just have like text that says, you know, press X to start or something. Or maybe we'll create like a thing where you can press like W. What if you render the cameras? What if I reorder the cameras? What do you mean reorder the cameras? You mean, whenever you say reorder the cameras, do you mean like in the actual hierarchy? That might change something. But yeah, I agree, we just need to find some random ideas. Yeah, okay. So if I render it this way, it looks like we still don't get the UI. There's gotta be a way to do this. Okay, so post-processing layer. So the thing is that since the post-processing layer is on this camera, right, it should render. What if we put this not here but here? Sure. And then what if we render, it's probably a terrible idea, but I'm gonna try it anyway. What if we render you to the main camera? No, that doesn't work, damn it. Let's change you to, no. Change you to UI, yeah, change the children. Yeah, sorting layer, additional. I wish I knew what half this stuff meant. Like this culling mask, which layers the camera renders. So, because really this should render the UI, and this shouldn't. So we shouldn't get any UI, but for whatever reason, this camera is not rendering stuff on the UI layer, or it's not seeing stuff on the UI layer. Because if we put this here, like I would expect, since this is rendering to this camera, when you set modes, screen space camera and plane distance determines what's drawn in front and what's behind the cameras. Oh, so if I set plane distance to -1, no, 0, wait, what? 2? So I set the plane distance to 1, but 100, but 1, okay. So what plane? You're at the 0 plane. I mean, this is definitely better. I think that might be how it works then. Oh my god, it works. Okay, I think it actually does work. Hang on. So, given that, what is at the HUD? Oh, that's unfortunate. Wait a minute. So this does have the post-processing effects going through it. Okay, so I think you figured it out. Yeah, I think you figured it out. I think that's how it works. So we just need to move the score down a little bit. Yeah, okay. It just, everything needs to be resized, but that's actually fine. I think it's at constant pixel size, but I think this actually needs to scale with screen size. Oh, there we go. So the HUD itself, yeah, I think you figured it out. Thank you. That's really good. I mean, that's not the right size, but that's fine. So the scale, the screen size needs to be 1920 by 1080 as the resolution. And then, I mean, we can say 10 or 1 or 200. No, none of that changes anything. All right. Yeah, I think I just need to rescale everything and then it'll work. Which that's super easy to do. I mean, just like, oops. Let's grab that and rescale it. Yeah, there we go. Just do that. I mean, super hacky solution, but you know, it's fine. Yeah, there we go. All right. So that's almost working, but there's ways to fix that. What I wanted it to do is I want it to reset the color, but we can totally fix that later. Or actually, wait a minute. If I set you, can I go to not the button, not that? Canvas render a game object. So can you not? So is color not a property? Is that what I'm getting from that? So hang on, if I remove this. So one thing I want to try, just before I call this off. So in the label itself, so in the TMP component, the vertex color, I think is not... There's ways to fix that, but we target this. Text Mesh Pro. So we can say, is it the vertex color or is it something else? I'm looking for the color, basically. I don't see it. It's probably here, but I can't see it. So yeah, it's fine. What we'll do is just leave that where it is. Okay. So yeah, that definitely seems to be working. Thank you for the help. That's super helpful. Like I didn't know that the plane distance was a thing. But I guess it makes a difference. I guess that makes sense. Anyway, I'm going to go. Let me see if Vulcan Storm is streaming. Oh, he is. Okay, cool. I don't want that. I want that. Create our dashboard. So, yeah. I just researched the old internet. Yeah. Just Google the problem. Yeah, thank you for doing that. Like, I would Google it, but I don't think people tune in to watch me Google stuff. So, I mean, maybe they do, but I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna Google. Yeah. We're gonna do this the hard way. We're gonna science this. Anyway, I'm gonna raid Vulcan Storm. I think I'm spelling that right, because this is the end of this stream. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll be back in a couple hours at 3 US San Antonio time with some stuff for the Dungeon Crawl Game Jam 2021. Yeah, Dungeon Crawl Jam 2021. Whatever it's called. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see ya. Well, in 8 seconds or something, whenever this actually goes through with the raid. There we go.